on Sunday.
Hi, Atif. Yes, very early morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so we'll just give few more minutes and for anyone else to join in, and we'll try to behave, and hopefully we'll finish it in 45 minutes or whatever the time left. This is more interactive session, I would say. Lipi will obviously give the introduction, so you would know what's the knowledge coming in this session. But it will be very useful for anyone thinking about the digital transformation, adoptions, and everything. We need to be careful while we all focus on the technical and the functional solution, but we need to consider some other bits and pieces. Anyway, I don't want to cover the whole topic here. So, yeah. How's the weather like, Lipi, there at the
Well,
moment?
great English weather
English
on a
weather, so
Sunday
you're trying to.
morning.
All right, so I'm sitting in Karachi at the moment because I had to be here for the kickoff and working with the team. So I'm flying back today. So just after the session, I'll start doing the packing and then head off.
Okay,
Okay,
let
so
me
let me
share
know
the
when.
screen. So,
Yeah,
shall I share the screen? Do I
please.
have access to share the screen?
Okay, leave, go to the more and then, and whoever is the moderator there, sorry, do we need to stop and start the recording at all or we are good?
I've already started recording and I can also see in the big screen. So you may
Okay,
start.
cool.
Okay, so shall we start then?
Let's make a start.
Uh, all right. Okay. So I'll start. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining the session. I don't know which part of the world you're joining from. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And thanks again for taking out some time on Sunday. This is just a community session where we are all sitting and sharing our knowledge. So feel free to ask question if you need any support. You will have the detail. We will share our detail as well. But from the Pakistan user group side, if you want to contact any of the member, feel free to connect with them as well. And before we dive into the our topic of today, I would like to thanks all our sponsor who has been supporting us, and obviously without them, these event would not have been possible. This year event have been happening in hybrid mode. So what does it mean that we did 2 days of the in-person event in Karachi, and 2 days we have been doing it virtual. So uh, Thursday and Saturday was in person. Friday we did virtual, and today we are doing virtual. So this is just to ensure that people are joining together. We are interacting and engaging with the global community as well as we are supporting our Pakistan user group as well. And the mode was from this session was we are doing sort of a mix, Urdu, Hindi, and English, so we can entertain all the audience and give them as much as detail in their native language as well. So once again, thank you all the sponsors, specifically Magic Global, One Dynamics, Microsoft is always there anyway, Group, ITNOX, and Stallion Solution. Okay, so if we'll move to the next slide, I'll give my introduction. My name is Mohammed Atif. I'm one of the founding member of the Pakistan user group as well, and quite pleased to be here and supporting and seeing a lot of momentum now because there was no user group in Pakistan. So Faisal Fareed and the team has built up this community, and we are all working towards the one goal that we are sharing the knowledge. So this is all about the learning and sharing the knowledge. So feel free to connect if you want to learn more about it and if you have any other idea. I'm also the VP Solution and Services from MES Global, UK, based out in London. Obviously, we are the Microsoft Go partners working with many customers. And again, the experience we are sharing here is coming from our customer where we are implementing and delivering the whole digital transformation and enterprise level solution. So that's really me. Over to you, Lipi.
Thank you, Atif, and really amazing experience because I have been a speaker of Pakistan User Group last year, and thanks for bringing me back. And I really enjoyed the experience speaking last year. So I'm a digital transformation management consultant. I'm also the co-author of the book Building a Digital Future, which published last year. And since then it's been an amazing experience talking in different groups. Digital transformation is one of the passion that I really pursue, and today we have 45 minutes to unpack digital transformation, but it itself is a big subject, big topic. So if you have any questions even during the session, after the session, feel free to open up, talk about it, and we will help you in whichever way and form we can. So without further ado, our subject is measuring digital transformation with business adoption and using Dynamics 365. So what does that mean? So we will cover to dive into the measuring digital transformation. We'll talk about what exactly is digital transformation, what we mean by that, and why now we are talking about it. We would like to understand a bit about the organization and how we can prepare the organization to embark upon the journey of digital transformation. What do you need to do for planning and readiness? What kind of technology platform we use? And here we are going to talk about only Dynamics. Then finally, we'll cover measuring adoption and what kind of KPIs do you use. So what do we mean by digital transformation is we need to integrate the business tech and the digital technologies. The business transformation, we need to identify what are the key priorities business want to transform from moving from A to B or to Z. So and you cannot move that in one single day. So you have to define the priorities as an organization. And then you need to think about what digital technologies do you want to bring in to move that, to bring that journey along. So obviously it need to be having an operational efficiencies. You need to increase the business efficiencies. That is definitely given. And you might be providing services to either existing customer or using different channels and might be penetrating into a different market. Um, or you could also be improving the existing customer experience that you may have in your organization. Then you have to think about what is the targeting emerging markets that you can grow with this new growth strategy. What is your go-to-market strategy? You have to start from there and think about what extra can you bring in? What are the existing efficiencies that is working, not working, and what else you need to improve upon? Now, we have been talking, I mean, this last few years, we have been talking more about digital transformation compared to before that pandemic period. And why now? It's mainly because the acceleration of digitization and digitalization during COVID has helped to move that digital customer, digital transformation, digital strategy moving forward. Previously, we have seen every organization has a digital strategy. But during COVID, most of the organization had to rethink about their strategy to be competitive, to carry on their business. And it's not just about upgrading an old IT infrastructure. It's more about how you can integrate, how you can bring in new customer, service existing customer. And cloud computing is one of the biggest advantages that we have in our generation today because you can scale up, you can reduce the cost, or you can serve many more customers compared to early days where it had been uh, off the shelf product or on-prem product. So it's agile, it's a major playable, player scalable. So hence we are thinking about it right now. We are talking about it. Lots of organizations are coming forward. Whichever country you are from, you are joining from, you will see a massive shift in this strategy, in the business transformation strategy is coming up in this years. So I've written this book about building digital future, and the focus was more about how to prepare the organization. And if you happen to have that book or refer to that book, we have covered 5 cornerstones of digital transformation. What do we mean by that? Is it's a strategic shift, and you have to think about from the organization point of view. This is where the exec committee, the C-suite leaders, they have a strategy and how they want to transform their business. So what is a strategic plan? What are the business benefits that you want to bring in to deliver through your digital transformation journey? And it's nice to have that strategic shift and think about what is a vision, what is a mission of your organization. But you need to also think about one layer beneath in the organization to think about what is the existing culture. And culturally, you might need to shift the organization as well, because otherwise, digital transformation might not be as successful as you would like to be. So you have to think about your workforce. Do you need to know about what is a prevailing culture within your organization? What kind of managers do you have and what is their expertise? What kind of cultures and values they exhibit? And you also need to think about one step further to see what should you stop doing and what should you start doing in the existing scenario. Then a shift in people's mindset. And the reason why I want to touch upon that shift in people's mindset is because of the change that comes along with the digital transformation. You're not just bringing in a new technology, but you are defining and redefining the ways of working, the business processes that need more to be more efficient or need to be done in a different way. So you need to streamline your business processes. So hence, a shift in people's mindset is also important. By that, I mean, think about the baseline and the skill set that you have in your organization. What is your talent profile? What is the succession? What are the succession plans? Then what are the soft skills that you need in the organization and what else do you need to bring in? You need to identify what are the gaps and you have to manage setting that expectations. So it's kind of a big thing when we think about the change management, change strategy. And it is an understanding your organization as it's a very integral part of the journey that precedes any laying out your transformation before even you start. Then the next step is also about the process shift because you need to identify what current processes that you have, whether you have it documented, and what kind of improvements that you need to bring upon. Now, we will look into from the lens of whether it's finance operations, sales management, but think about what, as an organization, what are the processes that are transparent and that are not transparent? What kind of efficiencies or improvements that you need to bring upon in the current business processes? Then every organization we do think about, even though you have a process, sometimes it's not documented. That's coming from the experience I've seen through in many organizations. And then everyone has a way and the department has a way of doing things in their own little Excel spreadsheets. And do we rely quite a lot on the Excel spreadsheet? Do we rely on them to make the informed decision? Is it visible to only one department? Is it visible to the entire organization? Or if it's a global organization, is that visible to all the different satellite offices in different organizations? Yes, you might need to have a security, but on a strategic level, you need to see those information to make that informed decision. So hence process shift is quite important and pertinent. Then comes when you are embarking on the journey of digital transformation, you need to think about what is the governance and control you need to put that in place. And there are you have to be open about discussing this sensitive issues, sensitive risk, and that might you need to bring that up in the executive level meetings. You need to spot those kind of risk much early on. If you're not spotting the risk, that means you are in a danger of leaving it until quite late, until it becomes an issue, which can impact on your journey of digital transformation. And then you need to also think about, always link upon what is your business strategy? Is it always aligned to the project team objectives, the program you're working through? So hence we need to bring that all thinking while we are starting that journey. And here's some of the example I have wanted to show and not to go into too much of details, but every organization, the big organization, small, medium organization, everyone has a vision. And what is the why? You need to connect that strategic vision. What is the why of your organization? Why do you need to do it? for example, for Microsoft to help people and businesses throughout the world. And we can see that through this Pakistan user group, there are lots of different communities. We are connecting and we are actually trying to help each other. Then I would say Tesla to accelerate the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So these are different strategic vision examples. It's a big organization, has big vision, but simplify it in a way. What is the why? What is the why to connect to your organization, to connect to your digital transformation journey? And then you can break it down further in terms of how you can prepare your organization. And here I would like to call upon Atif. What do you think about from your expertise and knowledge? How do you see the digital transformation? Do you see any kind of fallacy? People start the program, their journey, and sometimes somewhere they have forgotten. Have you come up with some examples?
So let me just add, Lipi, taking it to the very, very basic example when we are talking about the digital transformation. After pandemic and even since last 5 years, particularly if we're talking about if you see the trend even for the e-commerce businesses, people are really now avoiding going to the shops and they're all using their mobiles or the web portals to purchase or to navigate any experience they want to avail it, right? So if they need to buy anything, even I have seen people, if they need to buy the whole furniture, well, they are not going in store. They have the facility now available. So it's just a mindset, and people don't have time anymore. They want to do things quickly. They are now buying things from the different part of the world, and that's being delivered. The Amazon, the whole service is all changing the whole mechanism. Talking about the HoloLens, the way we used to provide the support, someone was going to the client site, looking into the stuff, and then finding out there's an issue, then they were rescheduling it. Thing has changed. They don't want to just go back. They want to just get the fix done and dusted there and then, right? So how do they do it? HoloLens is a classic example, which I normally give in my presentation anyway, right? So, or talking about from the UK side, right? British Gas is one of the largest energy provider there. And if you're going to the client side and checking if there is any issue, you find the problem and you say, okay, I don't have the resolution there. Okay, let me connect with the experts. Expert is sitting maybe some part of the UK, somewhere else, and they are connected, they can see it. And the way they are just resolving it is completely changed. Talking about the healthcare, even I have seen people are doing the surgery, and
Mm-hmm.
if they are finding any complex problem there, they are connecting with the world top surgeon using the HoloLens, and they are assisting them using the technology there. So things has changed, and it is amazing how it is helping the common people who are availing these services. So,
Exactly.
and this is what we are learning today, that okay, when we are talking about as a business, how do you as an organization needs to prepare, what sort of stuff you need to consider, and make sure that you consider all those things for the successful adoption there. So
And
yeah, sorry,
the
Lipi.
it's yeah, no, so absolutely, it's a brilliantly said because there are so many examples that we have seen. And earlier, where it used to be a strategy, that's what you need to go on for, whether it's a 3 year, 5 year. But with pandemic, you are forced to go, and the organization are forced to go into that channel, into that route of transforming their business either overnight, in a fortnight. Many retail businesses, they have the brick and mortar shops, and they have to turn it around in 14 days or whatever time frame they have
Exactly.
got. I've seen so many examples, which is connecting directly and in a very shorter period of time. And it is exogenic, which is more about forced upon the businesses, but we have to do it, otherwise there is no survival.
Absolutely.
So here I want to bring in what are the key elements that we need to think about when we are talking about digital transformation. We have, and this is the 5 layers or 5 different parts you can think about. So engagement, yes, we have to start with who are the key users that we are actually that they are going to interact through this transformation. What are the business users, internal users, external users, the customers, and everyone. So we have to think about all different use cases when we are talking about the engagement. And that's how you need to break it down. You have to start it from what different business processes you're looking into. So the processes and innovation, the organization need to think about looking forward in terms of continuous innovation. Digital transformation cannot happen overnight in terms of you have to think about different levels of this to digital transformation. One is exogenic, where you are forced to do certain transformation, but then you have to also think about how can you keep on innovating. And there is no going back, as Atif said, there is no going back into the old ways of doing things. So from now onward, if the organization have already moved into their digital transformation in a certain level, then now they have to think about what is the next level they can go about, what further process improvements they can do in their business. And the technology is a platform. It's a massive, Dynamics is a massive platform, and it's so useful in so many different ways that it can connect. And different accelerators of Dynamics have come through, which helps either in healthcare or in different businesses. There are already some accelerators already there. Then data is quite important, where data and analytics, how we use the existing data of the organization may not be in the right format, but with Power Platform, you can use the existing data and put up some app on top of it, and you can resolve some business problems. So hence data and analytics forms a key element of digital transformation. And finally, the business and culture, which you have to think about from the very beginning about what is the culture within the organization, what are the priorities set within the business, how you can manage the expectation at all levels from C-suite to end users. So you have to manage those expectations, and you have to put a roadmap in place in terms of measuring those benefits. So because there is no point in having a digital transformation, but if you don't measure it, that means the adoption has not kicked in. So hence you have to have a time frame allocated to measure those business benefits that you are going to utilize in this digital transformation. Um, Now, before that, if is there any questions that if I can't see the screen, but if you see any questions or any interactions, feel free to ask questions if you have any
Yeah,
questions that might have triggered up until this point.
yeah, no
So
questions so far
no
at the moment.
questions. Okay. So here I'm talking about a little bit about taking Dynamics 365 finance and operations. So I've wanted to say about what are the tangible benefits that you see in the business and what are the intangible benefits that you can bring along. Either you are increasing in from F&O perspective, are you doing a cost saving by certain percent? Are you doing improvements in the credit collection or aged debt? Reduction in the manual effort, the way that things are done, early on time and clearing the outstanding payments. So think about what are the tangible benefits that you are going to deliver through finance, bringing finance and operation. And don't forget about the intangible benefits as well, because whilst it's very important to have those numbers, the KPIs in place, but not to forget about the employees, not to forget about how improvement in the business cycle times or the security and the privacy and the compliance that you're bringing along. So connecting those dots in terms of when you're thinking about finance and operation to be rolled out in the business, um, and then I'm not going into the details of in which format, in which methodology, waterfall or agile, because or you might find a way that the hybrid might be the best way. So whichever methodology you work through, you have to think about the tangible as well as the intangible benefits. And here is a KPI that you can measure, quantify the measures. You keep on measuring, that becomes transparent with Dynamics 365. You show that in your dashboard in terms of what is a credit overview, what does it look like, what is a collections overview. So it is not just sitting within one department, it's across the business, it's across the finance, it's across the business users. So everybody can see what are the details of what are the KPI, how we are measuring it. Then, if you take about the example of the Dynamics 365 supply chain management, how fast you're changing the customer demands, how fast production and distribution planning, and if you have the distribution within one country or across globally in different countries, you have a view, you have a visibility about that as well. Enhance the visibility of the supply chain and inventory in real time. With IoT, also you can have that measurement. And again, with the KPI, you can see the cost analysis, where it is coming from, the inventory turn, the data that is there behind it, the inventory value, the cost analysis, everything is on the dashboard. So on a single glass of pane so that you can have a visibility. If you talk about the commerce side, increase in growth of direct to customer channels, then monitor the sales and margin, analyze the sales trends, and again, keep on deepened loyalty with existing. So always have that tangible as well as the intangible benefits along playing along with that. Then if we talk about the sales and marketing, what is the increased the sales pipeline view? Can you see, are you measuring, are you using those dashboards views every month when you're making those kind of sales meeting discussion, sales director discussion? Do the marketers have fresh and accurate insights to personalize the digital communication to the end users? Have they seen increase in the engagement rate and improved in the call to action? So these are some examples where you can define what are the tangible benefits again. So transparency across the visibility enhances the visibility and the communication throughout for Dynamics. And again, if you are a customer service, you're trying to bring in the customer service element of your business, then think about measuring, is it reducing the service desk management effort? It's not about, oh, we have put a case management solution and we have this nice dashboard. But what exactly are you delivering? Is it reducing the mean time? Is it increasing the any employee to vendor ratio, incident management? What are we? Where are we in the business when we didn't have the Dynamics 365, let's say customer service or sales and marketing? What was the measurement before? And what is it like in month one? What is it like in month two? And you cannot say that over a period of a few months it will be changing. So you have to keep measuring to see that happening in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And that's where the digital transformation, the adoption kicks in. So with that, I have again given some examples here how to embed your KPI in the ways of working with your data to make some informed decision. And to think about that using the legacy system and the as is ways of working, think about cost improvements, customer engagement, whatever your benefits are, put that in your using your legacy system and then start thinking about to be ways of working. And that's how you have to keep on measuring and have to bring that discussion in every communication within the organization that you may be having. And that's where you can predict, you can just, whatever the business case was, you can just prove it, how the journey is moving along after you have implemented Dynamics 365. Um, This is to show you in the Building the Digital Future book, what I have done is we have got the book in 3 different sections to talk about what is the outset, what is your intention, what do you want to do in digital transformation. That is the first section of the book. Then the second section is about blueprinting, how to prepare your organization, review your organization change management, build a program and design principles, be it set the foundation before you start. Identify your workforce. Well, who are the movers and shakers within your organization? What is the customer experience? What kind of support model you have in place? Because it's not good enough having Dynamics 365, but you have to also think about how to keep on continuous innovating the solution and also supporting the business users. So you have to think about the support model, whether you are doing it in-house or you're bringing in another organization or hand holding. So think about all those elements. Um, and this is just a map to show you where do you want to be. So start simple and keep building on that layers of journey. So with that, I hand over to Atif to talk a
Okay.
little bit more about the adoption problem.
Yeah. Thank you, Lipi. So I'll be covering from the different angle to what Lipi has covered. Obviously, measurements and business adoption is quite critical. But when we are talking about from the implementation point of view, uh, normally we follow the methodologies, and if there are methodologies like the agile or zero step or waterfall, whatever we are following it, right? It's all standard. It has specific phases which goes through from the inception to the delivery. But we end up having issues anyway. So why there are the issues if we are following the same processes? We know it, okay, we need to get the requirement, we need to understand what business wants to do it, and then we need to implement and simply deliver it. No, but we end up having issues. We end up having major problem when people are reluctant to use the solution. And this happened because when we are discussing the requirement from the business is thinking from the different angle. As one part is the technical, one side is the business. From the technical side, we need to talk about and think about the security. We may need to think about the integrations. Then we need to say about the user access point of view. And when we talk about from the business is looking from their processes point of view. Some of the requirements they are coming up as we are discussing about the digital transformation, because whenever we do these digital transformation, they are at the initial stage as well. They are still thinking, they are trying to understand what exactly they want to achieve it. So this is important, that we work with them very closely and understand their problem, what exactly they want to do it. So problem happen because we are discussing with who? These are actually the business user or the technical users or the end user. So in the end, when we talk about where we have a problem, it's actually the problem ends up with the people we are dealing with. Either the people who are delivering the solution or the people who are giving us the requirement. So we need to work through with the people. So how do we resolve this adoption problem? So talking about the people, and I think when we talk about the successful adoption, is nothing is actually the way we are delivering any solution or discussing their requirement. It's actually their behavior change. And what we are doing it, we are discussing and telling them, uh, whatever you were doing it, that was all great, but now things are changing. You need to start rethinking how you want to optimize your processes, because you want to make it easy. You don't want to stuck with what you were doing it 10, 20 years before. So think how you can make it better. And people are reluctant to make that changes because they are in their comfort zone. They don't want to make the change because I'm doing it. This is how I do, and I'm quite used to. And all the other department associated with that process, they don't want to do it. So we need to educate them. We need to tell them that okay, we are doing it. This is for your own benefit to make your life easy, to bring more efficiencies. So talking about the adoption is actually the behavior change. And when we do and learn about the applications, so is the or the user adoption is not just learning about the new application or the solution because the dynamics is there, we will learn it and magic will happen. No, it's actually different ways of working. So we need to first understand the people, ensure they are comfortable, they understand about the changes, why we are doing it, and then you bring them into the technology. Because once they know the root cause, the why is happening, and they are not worried because the sometime when you are bringing the technology, there's a lot of organization change happen as well. So people are worried about their jobs as well. So give them comfort that is not about changing their roles for exactly they're doing it. We are trying to make things happen. So in summary, what we talk about the digital transformation is nothing, is the change within the people, within the behavior, within the way they are working. So Lipi, if you'll go to the next slide. Okay, how do we resolve then this user adoption? So there's a different ways, and it's not the hard and fast framework that you have to follow all the phases. This is just to give you some guidance that how we can achieve and optimize the whole process, or how we can make that journey easy for end user and for the people who are going to use the solution. So these are the 5 phases, which I will try to cover it quickly. I know we have 7 minutes and we promise we'll finish it in time. So phase one is all alignment and the strategize. So how you as an organization align with your vision, right? The phase two is how do you promote and prepare it? Means when you're discussing starting your implementation, what are the action you should be taking it? So we will be talking about that. Then third is understand and educate. So means we need to have the people, the right stakeholder involved from the start. And the phase four is talking about the enablement, means actually we are doing the implementation. So we need to be careful how and who you need to get involved. So we that's the phase four, and then obviously once the implementation is done, is in production, people are using it. You need to continuously measure and ensure that you are reinforcing it if there are any gaps, so you implement it. Okay, so if I will go back to the phase one, so what do we need to do it? The what from the experience and the lot of implementation has happened. So organization, I think those organizations are very successful, uh, who got their clear vision, and the vision is actually what they want to achieve it in their next 5 years plan or the 10 years plan. So they need to align their vision with their goals, their strategy, that okay, what they want to achieve it. So this is coming from their senior leadership, organization leadership, because they need to ensure it, okay, this organization will be going in this direction. So talking about the digital transformation, and this is what happen normally in the digital transformation, the people are not clear normally that okay, are we going to do these changes? What is the purpose of these changes? Talking about the COVID pandemic, which happened in last 2 years, they were not prepared. No one was prepared for that change, but people had to adopt it because there was no vision for that, because no one knew about what exactly happened. But the organization who were already adopting the changes, they were adopting the new technologies, they were able to cope it easily and smoothly, and they were able to just carry on during the pandemic time. Then in the when we are talking about the alignment, we need to ensure that we are engaging the right stakeholder from top to down, because this is quite important that we get the right representation from each business area. So we need to have the people who actually use the system or will be running the business, so we get the representation. We have to ensure that we do the right survey. So this is quite important that we are going through with the business, talking to the right stakeholder, the people who will be getting involved. They are sharing the problem, what exactly they are experiencing, what sort of a challenge they have it, and what they are looking for to make it better, to run and bring the efficiencies in their processes. So those sort of a survey will help us. It will also help us that okay, when we are actually doing the in the last phase after the go live, when we are measuring the are we able to achieve what we were planning to do it? So it will give us the clear picture where we are, what we wanted to do it. And at the initial stage when we are talking about that, okay, we need to have some sort of a clear vision what exactly we want to achieve it. So this will give us better view how to plan the rest of the phases as well. If there is any changes, we need to do it initially rather than after the implementation. We make it now so we can do the right strategy there. And then obviously this is quite important that when we are starting any technical solution, right, this is quite important that we discuss about the adoption plan as well. We need to ensure that we are engaging the people. This is very critical because this is important. And what we have seen is people are not able to join or engage initially, and they have no clear view that what exactly happening, and they are not able to contribute it, so they get surprised and then they don't get what they were expecting, and this is where the lots of the implementation gets failed. Okay. If I will go to the next slide, Lipi, I'm conscious the time is running. Okay, so we got 2 minutes. Okay. Now, again, I'm just quickly summarizing it. Organization structure, this is very important. Whenever we are doing the implementation, we have to have the right people in the project organization team. So we need to have the right executive steering team. So all the leadership, and specifically the C level as well as the people from the different department needs to be part of this organization structure. We have to have the early adopters. So these are the people who will actually drive the implementation. They will engage their team members so that they can talk in their language and give them all the detail they needed when we are doing the actual implementation. And these are the people who will give us the clear requirement. So this is quite important that we got the early adopter available and added into the team. We have to have the people from the IT as well. While we are talking about the business people, it's important that we engage the IT team as well, because sometimes what happen that we keep the IT for the last moment because they are not required at this stage. But this is important. When we are talking about the success, it's important that they are getting involved. They know what exactly needs to be done from the IT point of view when we are doing the digital transformation. Again, talking about the other people like the training, PMO, communication lead is quite important. These are the people who will ensure that all the communication and the detail are being shared with the right people, right? Move to the next one, Lippy, please. Okay, end user survey. I've already talked about that. We need to get this survey from the people to make sure that we understand what is the objective, what they want to achieve it from the solution, what sort of a challenge they are facing, so that we can make the right decision at the initial stage. Okay, and this will give us the overall holistic view about the whole process. Again, talking about the measurable and attainable plan, Lipi already covered that. We need to measure it, what we want to achieve it from the solution, how we will measure it. Talking about the sales, right? Are we, what sort of a sales improvement we want to do it, how, what sort of a improvement like from the process we want to get it from the solution, is there any sort of a performance improvement we are expecting. These are all the points which we need to get it from the we need to just list it down when we are planning this thing. Okay, move to the next. Okay, now how do we ensure that people knows it? Is quite important that at the early stage we start engaging all the people who will be involved. What happen normally, there are certain number of people get engaged in the project, in the digital transformation, in the implementation, they carrying on with their planning and all the execution. But what happened, they are not involved and they are not aware of what exactly happening. So idea is to throw a kickoff party so they know, prepared and promote the implementation, pick up the
That's very
names and
important.
everything.
That's
Yeah.
really important because you need to have that kickoff party and you need to celebrate along the point what you have done in your journey.
Exactly. And even what we have learned is the name, project's name is quite important, right? So sometimes people, and especially we as a technical people, right, we don't realize it, how important, why we pick up some different and weird name. This important because it creates some sort of excitement as well. And the name is quite important because it has to link what exactly the vision is, where company strategy is. So naming conventions, all sort of stuff needs to be considered when you are planning it. And kickoff party is not just a party, it's actually the engage all the people. Then again, when we start the implementation, it's actually the phase 3. We then start facing the problem. People are blaming, they are having issues because the requirements are coming from all over the place. because now they are have started thinking it. So engage with the people again. We have to have the war rooms, we have to have lot of workshops, and be open to discuss those things. This is very important, to restrict these sort of a discussion, educate them and help them to understand it, that what exactly and why we want to do it and what sort of a scenario they have it. So again, when we are engaging with the users, have those session, and again everyone have different ways of understanding it. Some people are quick learners, some people will take time to absorb things. Have a multiple formats, that how you're giving them some sort of a guidance. Have one-to-one with those people, have their early adopters, the lead SMEs involved, so they can talk their language with the end user and take things out from them, whatever they're thinking, because people are reluctant. So help them to understand that this is all about the organization, it's all about the you, and we are implementing the solution. So share all those requirements and the processes. This is quite important, because the requirements are not clear, then we end up having the problem. Please move to the next one. Sorry, guys, I will take 2 more minutes and hopefully we'll finish it. Last one is, again, there are a lot of material available. So get them involved in learning about the technologies. So Dynamics, we are talking about the Microsoft Learn. There are webinars. There is a community called Pakistan User Group as well. They do a lot of excellent sessions. Ask them to join so they can learn it. There are different ways. There's a YouTube channel. There are multiple communities working and giving the free training. People needs to learn and absorb those sort of knowledge, because if we are moving them from one technology to the other technologies, don't expect it they will just take it, because we are all used to, but they are not. So help them to learn it, and give them all the possible materials, documentation, channels, YouTube, workshops, so they are comfortable with the tools. Sorry, Lippy. And hopefully this is going to be the last one. The go live again. When we are done the implementation, go live party is again important. Before you go, there will be still people worried, sitting on their seat and worry about that. Okay, they are now going to use the new system. How do you ensure that they are comfortable? Have one-to-one. Get their people, get their representation involved. And most important, when we are doing the implementation, this is very important that business get involved from the start, and they do in AX, the FinOps side, a lot of people knows about the CRP class, this classroom pilot, right? Get their hand dirty. They need to use the system before they start using into the production. Get them fully involved in the UAT, make them comfortable. And then once you do it, before you go live, again, make the environment flexible so they are open. They can discuss things and help them to absorb it. And lastly, once you go back to the measure and reinforce, we have gone live. Sorry, go back to the slide there, Lipi. What we do the from the go live, now we have gone live, start measuring. Do we have the people now using the system? Are we able to achieve what we initially listed down, whatever the goals we were trying to achieve in the phase one? So measure it, and if there are people who are not able to use it, then help them. Give sort of a introduce the gamification as well. Give them some incentive, attract people, make it fun rather than making it a big problem for them. And if there are people is still, despite giving you all sort of incentive, training and everything, so sometime if you have heard the term that we have to use the either sometime give the carrot or sometime you have to pick up the stick, and we have to do it. But don't let them just sit and not use the system. This is important, because as many as people start using the system, you will start seeing the real value, because business and organization, you have done the investment. So this is important. The last one is that you measure it, and whatever the reinforcement is required, we follow it there. I don't know what else is there. Hilly has the next slide. And next is all about the learning. There are a lot of material available. Go further, please. Again, there's a lot of slides. There's a community, there's a Microsoft Learn, there's a workshop, lots of things happening from the community level, from the Microsoft, and from the organization side. Get them involved there. Okay. And lastly, again, just to repeat, digital transformation is nothing. It's just the change, behavior change, and you need to just work while you're working on the technology side. You really need to work with the people to make this thing happen. Okay, that's me. I don't know, Lipi, if you want to add anything
No,
to
absolutely,
finish it
and
off.
it's a journey. You need to think about it, to think about all the adoption plan from the very beginning, so that you can get through, have a successful digital transformation journey. So whatever
All
we
right.
have talked about, to bring everything in. So thank you again
Exactly.
for being a lovely audience.
And bearing with us. Thank you, guys. 8 minutes over. Apologies. We tried, but anyway, it was important we cover these things. But again, if there is any question, anything else you want to pick up and discuss, please feel free to reach out to myself and Lepi and any member of the Pakistan user group. We are all working together. We are here to support and help you in any problem you have it in your digital transformation program or any other knowledge you needed, really. We'll be happy to support and share the knowledge. Thank you once again,
Thank you,
and thank
everyone.
you all the sponsors as well. Okay, we stop here now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Atif and Lipi, for the great session. I hope it would be a learning session for everyone. For the next session, we have Usama Wahab on call. So he will be giving a session on Power BI, and he is a Microsoft MVP and MCD and a community leader from UAE. He's working as a CTO, Evolution Technologies, and Azure Community Hero. So welcome, Osama, to the event.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for warm welcome. Am I audible? Just want to double check that.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to contribute in my local community.